Jasen Colson.
Got my Vegas music going on. Figure we're in Vegas. When in Vegas, do as the vegans do.
And reject meat. Yeah. I reject meat, and I reject your whole system of how you harvest your meat, and that's how they do it in Las Vegas. Those vegans. Jasen, how you doing, man? Thank you so much
I'm
for coming
doing
on.
good. Thanks for having me on, man.
I
Appreciate it.
see your partner is in bed behind you. They're off screen, so they're not able to be seen. But
Yeah, my partner got her COVID shot, her second vaccine yesterday, and it really is not. It's doing a number on her body right now, so she's relaxing and just letting it go through her system. She's like she feels bad, but she's excited that her body is like doing what it's supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's funny because that's how my wife feels about her period. It's just like, you know what? It's not
It's a beautiful thing.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
How long did I don't know. I mean, you could admit this in public or not, but there was a time in my life when I was dating my wife, my then girlfriend, where she's like, "Oh, I'm getting my period." I'm like, "Oh, gross." I was an asshole. Okay, I had a lot of learning to do.
You just hadn't been enlightened yet.
Exactly. So I don't know. Was there? Did you ever have to go through that learning experience on how you don't to a girl who's bleeding?
You learn it about it in well, we did. We learned about it in school, and it was just like as a preteen or a teenager, you're kind of like ooh fluids, but then you're like okay, well that's what it does, and now I know. So
yeah, well,
you take to it. You take to it on a person by person basis, I guess. I was never oohed by it. It was just like, oh, that's really interesting. It's just like I'm never gonna know what that's like, but like cool.
Yeah,
the body's interesting. The body's really
it is interesting. I'm not a fan of blood. I'm not a fan of blood in the first place, but yeah.
Oh, I can't. Well, I can't watch those operation shows or whatever. I can't do it.
Oh God, it's no. Have you ever? What about like Dr. Pimple Popper? Have you ever saw her going to town like that? I can't watch that either. It's awful. It's awful.
There are some people that really enjoy doing that. They're like, here, just let me, and they love popping pimples. It's like a thing. They just like really get a kick out of. And I'm like, no, you go ahead and do that. Just don't tell me about it.
Dude, it's so nasty. I'm sorry. The other day, I got caught up because I'm on the TikTok. I don't know if you've heard of the TikTok, but the TikTok got me.
I'm too old for the TikTok, but I have heard of it.
I thought I was too old as well, Jasen, but it turns out you're never too old for the TikTok. Oh shit, what were we just talking about? Oh, it was the pimple popper lady. They got me because it was like I didn't realize what was happening until it was happening, and then all of a sudden there's this big pimply thing. I don't know. She cuts it open. All of a sudden, like cottage cheese just comes bursting out, and I dropped my phone. It was awful.
Unsubscribed.
Well, the thing about TikTok is that they have like a for you section, and it's so it's like this algorithm and
what else
like
are you watching there, Mike?
Dude, I'm telling you right now, my TikTok algorithm is so fucked up. It's like a bunch of gay dudes being catty. It's a bunch of what was it? Oh, I have a lot of black conservatives. For whatever reason, and well, I mean, I know why, but it's not that I'm a conservative. That's just what ends up happening in there. I'm really revealing a lot about who I am, aren't I?
Yeah, it's great. I didn't know this was going to happen, but hey, this is beautiful.
I didn't tell you much about what was going to happen. That's okay. There's nothing really to expect. Well, look, I do appreciate you coming on the show, and you know. Pimple popping aside, you know, I respect the way that you approach writing, because when I listen to your music, there's this sort of there's this like musical theater-ish type thing going on. I don't know if I'm hitting on the right thing, but like I just feel like every time, not every song, obviously. Obviously you have songs that aren't like chord after chord, and it just. For me, it just feels very big, very musical theater-y, lots of chord changes, lots of like, lots of like, really expressive singing. Yeah, can you go into your process and like how did you end up, really being pulled into that kind of writing? And how do you, yeah, how do you explain your music to people?
Well, I've always liked these progressive bands from like the 60s and 70s.
Like,
So,
yes.
and even back further,
Oh,
subconsciously not knowing it at the time, but as a kid, you're a video gamer and you hum along to whatever tune is playing.
right, right.
And the more I listen, I still listen to those video game tunes. I find them like these playlists
Yeah,
online where it's just like the whole soundtrack from like a game from the 90s or the 80s or something. I still listen to those because it's music, right? Somebody composed
absolutely.
it, somebody made it, and
Absolutely.
it's their creation. It's no different to me than listening to someone who has like a hit on the radio.
I mean, it's a
But
classic. This is a classic, right?
yeah, I'm guessing that's Ocarina of Time.
Of course, of course. Yeah, it's a classic. Right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
just classic melodies and classic songs that are beautiful. But please continue.
So I guess I've always gravitated towards like music that had a little bit more, like you say, a dramatic feel to it.
Mm.
Had more of a like a story told, not even lyrically, but musically. There's like kind of a story that goes. There's an ebb and a flow. There's peaks and valleys. So as a teenager, I realized I grew up in the '90s, and everything out there was pretty much three-chord grunge, which like it's grown on me now, but it didn't really appeal to me then. And I was always going back to these older, like kind of progressive bands, like yes, Genesis, early Genesis, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Kansas, to name a few. And as I realized, like even the video game tunes I was listening to had like little sparks of those types of
Yeah,
bands,
yeah,
and
totally.
I was never able to replicate that as a musician. So every band that I was in was like, reminiscent of whatever 90s band was at the time as a teenager. And then when it came to like, okay, I've grown a little, I can venture out on my own and start writing my own tunes. I went, well, let's see if I can write something that's kind of dramatic esque and see what I can get with it. And I pieced together a bunch of tunes here and there. And it wasn't until, what was it, almost 10 years ago that I decided I was going to write my own album for once. I'd been on a bunch of albums where other people wrote material and I threw in the odd tune, but never went myself. And I said, what am I going to do? How's it going to turn out? And I really didn't know. And it ended up just being like a hodgepodge of a bunch of different styles.
Well, when we were listening to those songs before, I mean, it went from a I don't know, a jaunty sort of tune to a straight up Latin
Oh,
breakdown.
yeah.
So I mean, I too like the old prog guys, and even some of like even like one of the new-ish, or and they're not even new anymore, but the Mars Volta was like another
Oh,
like
yeah.
prog band that I glommed onto so hard.
Yeah. Their Deloused in the Comatorium album is pretty good. It's
Just
pretty good.
incredible. Like Rick Rubin on production, and just and as a debut album too. Jeez
Yeah.
Louise, man, that they made quite an entrance.
Hmm.
But yeah, like that prog, that ever moving, that ever changing, progressions and time signatures, and just sort of taking people on a ride, right? Like it's sort of
Yeah.
like you start one place and you end in another. I've always been a fan of that. What the problem was for me when my early days of writing is that I used to make like these 14 to 15 minute long opuses that was comprised of like 10 different songs because I didn't really get how to put it all together. What did you run into any of that kind of things when you were recording your first album, when you went into the process of writing and recording your first album? Were you finding problems with sort of completing songs, or not able to sort of put things together or piece things together? What were some of the challenges, especially in your writing style, that you faced in that first album?
Oh, all over the place, and you're absolutely right with like having to make one piece have an ending or a proper ending that you think is good. Is I've still got a slew of like outtakes and bits of tunes that I thought at the time were like, this is amazing, it's going to be great, and then I listen to it again, it's like, okay, it's all right, and then I listen to it, that's junk. I need this. That's not going to work at all. And then I would just scrap it. There's lots of scrap material. But for me, it even came down to what I could do as a piano player, because I'm a drummer primarily.
Mm.
Like I've been drumming since I was since I was 12 and performing drums since I was 16. So I was always the drummer in the band and even singer. I was even the singer as a drummer. So I would write tunes based on what drum beat it was or whatever. So when
Mm.
it came to writing my own stuff, I'm like, well, I don't have a guitarist to rely on for chords. So I had to literally, I would use digital recording software to kind of fake my way through what a piano would sound like. There's a
Yeah.
lot of, stereo trickery and stuff that I use to make songs sound full. But the writing process was tough in that way. Like I really had to go with my limitations, but my brain was like, but you want to do this, right? You want to go further. So like, can you? And I tried to push myself as far as I could go as a songwriter based on how I could play,
Mm.
and I think I went above and beyond that with the album. That last tune, or that one of those tunes that you showed in the intro, where I've got short hair and glasses on the drums. That tune in particular was like a couple years in to build on, because I was like, I wanted to make it sound like an epic, like
Mm.
a piece of a musical or something, and it took a while to finally perfect it. So when it was recorded, I was really happy with it, and I got some players to play guitar and stuff like that on it. And then when it came to playing it live, I went, "Oh, right, I got to do that now, don't I?"
It's like like when you hear the Beatles. I think it was the Beatles when they like released Sergeant Pepper. It's like, okay, now let's go on the road with Sergeant Pepper with like all 5 million edits and overdubs and all this. Like, how do you present that as a full piece on the road? And
So I hired a band. That video you
mm,
saw was with a band that of friends of mine that I hired along, and they were really happy to be part of it. Caroline Arnone was the one who was playing piano with me,
mm,
and she's got a Twitch stream. It's Carnone Keys. If my girlfriend's on the chat, if she wants to give her a shout out, she's on there. Streams games and plays music.
please do put it in the chat, and I'll make sure we shout her out.
Yeah. So Carolina is on piano, and my buddy and roommate Ryan Wheatley with the long flowing hair and chewing the gum while playing the bass. He's on bass, and my buddy, who's been my buddy since I was a teenager, he was actually my boss when I worked at Pizza Hut, of all things. We would talk music all the time, and he goes, when are we going to jam?" And the answer I didn't know at the time was, 15 years, man. We're going to jam.
Just be real patient,
And
okay?
that's my buddy Jamie Rowan on guitar in that video. But yeah, I got a band hired, and then I was like, okay, I'll just sit behind the kit like I always do. I'm comfy behind there.
Mm.
But then it came to doing gigs that were down to one person. I was just like, all right, this is it. And Twitch was an awesome way to try that out for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and you play with Danielle Allard as well.
Danielle Allard, yeah, we've been friends, I'd say, for the past 4 or 5 years or so. We met at an open mic in Ottawa,
Mm.
and she was the feature act at an open mic in Ottawa. We met there, and then just we kind of got into each other's schedules and into each other's text messages and stuff like that
Oh man.
about gigs and collaborations.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to meet her. She's an awesome human being, just one of the best human beings I've ever known, and very talented. And we've shared stages, and I was the drummer on her last EP rather, Passing Notes. She asked me to drum for the tunes on that EP she released.
That's so cool. Yeah, Danny's been on the show before. She's a very just intelligent and just a well-spoken human being.
Oh,
I
she's
really
she's a well-oiled marketing and music machine. She is.
she did. She was going through. You know what we talked about was because she teaches a social media class,
Hmm.
and I asked her. I was like, "What is like the most?" What I don't even remember the question, but it was like, what surprises your students or something the most? And it's like, because the first day they go through their social media and they go through and they delete all the things that might come back and get them. And she's like, you'd be surprised on how many kids are like, whoa, I can't believe I posted that. And they go through and they delete. I don't know, like that. I have like I have so many years in the Facebook game and so many different eras of my life of like drinking and drugging and just being ridiculous. They're definitely gonna find something cancelable in my in my history.
Your
It's
formative years, your growth years.
my
Yeah.
growth. But that's the problem, though. That's the problem, isn't it? Is like it's the growth years that they always go back to. It's
Yeah.
like
Don't you want to see the end result? Don't you want to see what I've learned? Like, come
yeah.
on.
It's like Trudeau. Trudeau is like, like he's a nice guy. He's good looking. I don't know how. I guess he's a good prime minister. I don't know. He's not my prime minister.
And that's always open for
Yeah, that's
public
debatable.
debate, but I'm not going to get into that, of course.
Sure, sure. Well, the lack of freedom of speech over there. I understand your case. I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke. It was like so stupid and terrible.
We're going to get that freedom of speech eventually. Yeah, we're.
Is that what? It seems like you guys don't mind. I mean, like every Canadian I talk to is like, well, we're good with that. I don't care. So if it
No,
works for you guys,
it just depends on who you talk to.
I
We're
suppose.
pretty chill as a collective, but we're all individuals. We all have our say, and yeah, we're pretty strongly opinionated. It depends on who you speak to, of course.
Yeah,
I'm one of those relaxed, laid back, let it kind of happen, let it flow
yeah,
kind of people.
yeah. You don't get caught up too much in that whirlwind of politics and social media.
No, I never have. But
That's
I will
good.
always lend
That's
an
good.
ear to anybody who's like, I got something to say. I'll be like, nah, go ahead. Let's hear you out.
That sounds that was like the very beautifully Canadian thing. Well, go ahead. Go ahead,
You
share
have
your
my
thoughts.
attention, sir. Yeah.
So with social media, I mean, how I don't know how involved you are, but like, do you think you have anything in your past history that would be even questionable, or do you not pay attention to that very often?
I would say, with all honesty, that I probably have no shame in what I've posted before. I don't know. You probably find some like deeply hidden thing you see in a picture. Like
Yeah.
I can think of, like, I had a really good time in Key West where I had a lot to drink, but that was about it. There's a picture of me and just with like this big, dumb face on, just making the whole like, yeah, having a
I'm
good
doing
time.
big things. I don't know, man. Social media is a whole mess. But so with your approach to music, when did you decide that? Well, actually, are you a full time musician, and even before the pandemic? I know the pandemic took our gerbs.
Hmm.
I mean, even before the pandemic, were you full time musician, or did you always?
Yeah,
Please.
as of I think 2015, I decided I would make music my primary and only job. I was working as a assistant manager at a pharmacy up in Canada, the equivalent to CVS in the States, and I was doing that and playing the odd show at a bar, like every odd weekend or something like that. Until I realized, like, wow, these bar shows can earn you some money, and I didn't realize that. And then the more we did it, the more we get, until it got to music became like a second, like, full-time form of income, and I was getting kind of stressed out at my drugstore job, until I realized, I don't need this. It's stressing me out so much that, like, I really need to keep doing both? And I went, no. So I stopped, and I just kept doing the gigs. So I was getting gigs at local bars, and people were asking us to do private events, like weddings and birthdays. And we actually did a show at an event for the Canadian Lawyers Bar Association. Like, we were getting some interesting shows, and it was like, I can pay all my bills with this. It's like, sweet, sign me up. I'm
Right.
good to go. So yeah, I've been doing that since 2015.
Wow.
And like you say, the pandemic definitely put a halt to that
Hmm.
and left me going, okay, what do I do now? And like I say, that's where Twitch came in. Twitch was a really good outlet for, like, not remaining stale from not playing so long.
Yeah.
And the support from Twitch has helped me move forward financially. So I have a world full of people to say thank you to
Yeah.
for helping me through these last 2 years. It's been really cool.
How long have you been on Twitch? When did you come?
I first streamed on August 10th of last year.
Okay.
I
Okay.
started out, like, experimenting with, like, your Facebook Live. It's just like, okay, I'll play to my 2 or 3 family members or friends who know what I do. And then once again, the beautiful and amazing Danielle Allard comes to my aid and says, you would really do good on Twitch. And she had been on there since like April or something.
Mm.
She's like, I've already got this fan base and it's really cool. What you do on Facebook is exactly the same. You'll have no problem. So I was like, all right, but, like, seems a little trickier to me. There's a lot more interactive stuff and programming needs. And she's like, oh, there's always help where you need it. And I started in August, and it's been It's been a year and something now, and I've already got like over 1,000 people following, and it's like the support just grows and grows. Like, and it's overwhelming at times, but just so positive,
Yeah.
100% positive.
What's overwhelming about it?
Is the amount of people you meet and the amount of um, positivity and encouragement you get, because I've always been the kind of person to say like, oh, I can't do this, or I shouldn't do this, or like people will probably enjoy it. And even like the concept of a live learn was like, oh no, people are going to see my mistakes and people are going to see me mess up. And it's just like, no, the encouragement is just like, we love the process. We want to see how you do things. Like there's 100% interest in, it seems, everything that a person does online,
Mm.
which was so different from the bar. The bar was like, can you play this song? And you go, not really. And they would yell at you. You're like, ah, come on, you know it, come on. And then of course they would like, ah, this guy sucks. Let's go to
Yeah.
another bar.
It's so funny how fucking excuse me, how rude people could be out in the real world when it comes to interacting with musicians and artists who are playing a gig, and it's like there's just some kind of like they have like some ownership over it. I remember this. My buddy was just telling me about this. He reminded me that this happened at a gig a couple years ago, and there was this guy who was like, I don't know. It was some. He was. Can you play "Welcome to the Jungle"? And then he held up a dollar bill, like $1 bill, and started going like popping it at us. He's like, and mind you, there's 5 of us in the band. So Jason is not one to sort of suffer fools. He was just like, hey, yeah, thanks for that dollar. That 20 cents is really gonna do us a big service getting home tonight. And it's just like the dude didn't take he just didn't get the hint. And he was like, dude, we don't know that song. We don't know it. And he just kept on going. And then so what he did was, when we told him no, he was just like, okay. And then he put it in his pocket, like he showed it like all slow.
This is what you're missing.
This is what you're missing out on. And then he comes back at us again with another GNR song, doing the same routine. Like he couldn't even come up with a new routine.
This guy thinks he's at a flea market or something.
For real. He's like trying to get a good deal on this GNR song that we don't know. Anyways, it was just one of those moments where you're just like, what the hell am I doing here? But then again, I've worked in a cubicle, and I'll take drunk guy with the dollar bill at the bar any day of the week over working in a cubicle. So
they are, as you call them, occupational hazards. And you know what? If you have the patience for it, like I say, you can look past that. Like I do too. Like I had my first live performance since February or something like that.
Wow.
And it was the weekend that just passed, like
Nice.
yesterday and the day before.
How was it?
Or Friday, Saturday. And it was amazing. It was so nice. It was so refreshing to be in front of some people and see their faces and see their reactions. And it was inevitable. A couple guys came up, hey, can you play Don't Stop Believing? And I'm like, here we go, Jay, you're playing Don't Stop Believing again. And
we're in it.
And it was funny because he's like, can I sing it too? And I'm just like, okay, he's going the extra mile. And at the time I was halfway torn between like, you know what, let me just do it, and just like, hey, why not? So I threw the mic over to him, and then this is going to be hilarious, but you know what, I'm having a good time. He seemed to be having a good time. And I missed it in a way.
Yeah.
Missed the shenanigans.
Well, I mean, it is kind of funny, and they do make for great stories. And though they can be kind of frustrating at a time, I mean, it is funny when you can tell people about the one time that guy that you pushed the guy off the stage, and he bumped into the guy behind him, and he thought that he was trying to push him or something. So he turned around and pushed him back, and then they started pushing each other, and then the whole bar turned into a brawl. So those are those good kind of stories.
Yeah.
That you love.
Same night, a gentleman came up to me. He said he was from Cuba.
Ooh.
And he's like, I was just able to move here this year because of COVID, and me and my girlfriend have been separated for like 3 years.
Wow.
So I'm finally here with my girlfriend. It's her birthday at midnight, and says, I know you're done, but like, can you like just go back on at midnight and just like sing one song for her. And I'm going, here we go again. They want me to work in overtime. But it's something about me just was like, you know what? I like the idea. That
Yeah.
sounds cool. So I went up and played a song for him and his girlfriend to say happy birthday. He ended up paying my table's drinks for the
Wow.
night as a thank you. I was like, wow,
But
cool.
that was, that was the thing, man. Like it about those live bar gigs. It's like if you can be as malleable with the audience as possible, then you can actually walk out there with some decent tips.
Mhm.
My wife and I, it was interesting to come to Twitch and see live learns. The live learning aspect where people, pay a little extra for you to learn a song that they want to hear. So we had been doing that for a couple years leading up to the pandemic, and it was really interesting because you could go into a bar and it could be completely dead, and the waitresses, aren't making any money that night. And yet you can walk out just because you learned how to play four non blondes on the spot.
Yeah.
People are dumping 20s and 50s in your bucket. It's just always funny when when the waitresses always walk by your tip jar and they're just looking inside and they're just thinking, what the hell? Like, and there's like three people in the place, but you're doing well. I mean, those aspects of it was always fun. The staying on your toes and being on. But there is other aspects, especially for you up in Canada in Ottawa. I mean, it gets so cold in the winter. I can't imagine lugging your crap around at 2:30 in the morning, and it's
Believe it or not, the audiences are as full as they are on the coldest day of the year as they are in
well,
the
I
middle of the
mean,
summer. Yeah.
people got to drink.
People live their lives. They know where they are and they know what it's like. And they're
Right.
like, you know what? I'm not going to let that stop me. And they still come out.
Oh yeah,
It's
they
great.
still come out, but I'm saying the aftermath is like the
Yeah.
worst part. Like tearing down,
And brushing your car off
bro. Oh
and
my
stuff like that.
God, unburying your car, and it's only been 3 hours. My God, but yeah, you come out and it's like 2 feet of snow mount on top of your stuff, and then you gotta drive home in the crap, and then you gotta lug your crap in too because you can't leave it in the car overnight because it's like zero below or zero
Yeah.
below. What does that mean? I don't know what zero below. Zero below what? I don't know.
Yeah. I think our -40 is the same as your -40. I
Mm.
think that's when they finally match up.
It's awful. It's awful. I will say that it is awful, but yeah, because last year when I was doing this and everything's going good, so I was like, I'm never gigging again. Never gigging again. Twitch is all I need, everybody. I'm never gigging again.
And like I say, it's not, or no, like I say, I say it's not for everybody too. Like
Mm.
somebody gets to the breaking point where they're like, well, I'm comfy. I'm in my own house. I'm comfy. I'm all
Mm-hmm.
set up and it's warm and I've got an audience. So
Yeah.
Twitch is it for me. And that's their prerogative. That's great.
Yeah. I absolutely. I would. I was. We talk a lot about people who come on this platform, and it's like you could be that school teacher that always longed to be a musician their whole life and just never found the time or the motivation or never had the right people in their corner to motivate them or to push them towards something or whatever the reason is. Twitch is that thing where they can be like, well, I can go fulfill this thing. I don't have to go out and find gigs and do all that crazy crap that you don't really have time for if you're working a full-time job. And you
Mhm.
can just sort of like turn your computer on and go for it. So I really love that. I really love that Twitch is sort of giving musicians who are like, low key musicians a chance to sort of express themselves as well.
And there's so much talent out there, so much untapped resources
Mm.
that Twitch is kind of giving a stage for, and people are being discovered that way. Even if you're being discovered by 10 people, you're still being discovered,
Yeah.
which is what I thought was great about Twitch. I'm like, wow, there's 10 people in this chat room right now, and they're not even like living in my city. They're all over the place. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's interesting too. Is like my wife streams as well. Well, my wife is Rain Mystique, by the way.
Oh, amazing! I did not know that.
Oh, okay. I just assume everybody knows everything. So Rain is my wife, and it was just like a really well, I forgot what we were talking about. Okay. Jesus.
using Twitch as a means to get your dreams out or
Oh yeah, yeah,
test
yeah.
out your
Well,
musical abilities.
what we noticed was is that once people started coming back, is like they wanted to hear the original songs. They
Yeah.
wanted to hear it, and then they want to, like you were saying earlier too. It's like people want to see the process. People want to see what you're doing and what you're up to, and I think that's such a really cool aspect of this is that you're finding sort of like your real fans, you know, and even if they're not here to come to your show in IRL, there's still people who are out there supporting and listening to your music and enjoying your music. It just seems like when you're out there in the bar scene and you got your little CD, your little compact disc for sale that everyone walks by and ignores, or you get that person who comes up like, oh my God, I need it, you know, and that's always nice.
Hmm.
But it's like, I just feel like you're always sort of like pressing your music on people at the bar rather than people really being interested in what you're doing. And for the most part, people just want you to sing "Brown Eyed Girl" and move on with your day. You know. So.
Your musical wallpaper some of the time at the bar. I like the decor. I also like that other guy who's just sitting there, and I hear Brown Eye Girl, but like the guy sitting there in the piano is a nice touch. I like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that was another part of it that I don't particularly care about is that like just dumping your energy into the void. And I don't know if you understand what I'm saying by that, but like when you get done playing every song, it's just like a deafening silence, and and nobody cares. I don't know, like how do you react to those kind of gigs? How do you feel about those kind of gigs?
Well, there's two instances or two scenarios rather that I can think of where that's happened to me,
Hmm.
and I've reacted differently in both ways. As a musician, when I was younger, trying to push original material and bands that have written their own stuff, when you play a show and you've just finished off a song that you've written yourself and it's polished and it was one of the best performances ever, and you hit that last note and you just hear like clinking of glasses and stuff. And I remember that was one of the last shows I played in a particular band I was in, and it was that moment I went, I'm done. It's like nobody is listening to this, and I went, okay, that's it for that then. And I remember being so like, man, like music is stupid. What was I thinking? And went through a really bad patch. But then I got into performing at open mics and stuff, and just kind of doing whatever felt fun,
Hmm.
and not stressing about the writing the perfect tune or performing the perfect performance or something. I started just playing because I liked the music and it was fun. And it was at these bar gigs where it's just like, okay, I can throw in like a cover or something or a tune that I've written that I really enjoy. And if people don't respond, it's just like, you know what? I don't really feel rejected because I was hired as like for my expertise or my talent to entertain, and I'm being appreciated at least by the staff and by the people who hired me. So like there's a more of an appreciation in that sense. If people aren't listening, whatever, it's you're still getting to them because they'll come up at the end of the night and they haven't clapped once and say, you were really good, you were awesome, I just want to say that. I'm like, rather than saying, man, where were you the entire, you could have put with this hand and that hand and like that, like once at least, but
just,
but
just
that they
validate
like
my
redeem themselves.
lifestyle, please.
It's like I need that's my fuel, but like
Yeah.
that whole thing when they come up and say thank you, that was great, is literally just having like a meal and a pill.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you get all your nutrients in it.
So, oh, thank you. They were listening. Wow. No, that is weird. Isn't that that is so strange too, that phenomena. I don't know if there's anything phenomenal about it, but it's but it's this thing where I feel like even if people liked it and they just and no one's clapping, they just don't want to be the only one clapping maybe. I don't know, you know, but like because there has to be a reason why this person who thoroughly enjoyed it to the point where they had to like come up to you afterwards while you're tearing down and trying to settle up and getting your shit together. They felt compelled to come talk to you. It's like, but yet they did not feel compelled to clap. When they were needed, they failed to answer that call. So
And that's just it. I don't expect a need from anybody. Like
Yeah.
if they want to clap, that's their prerogative. If they don't, that's their prerogative. I'm not here to force anyone into a behavior that they don't want.
Right.
So it's not a big stress. Like I said, they were probably really nervous about coming up and talking to me. So
Right,
like,
right.
I'd be like, "Ooh, that was really good for you. You must have been really thinking about that for a while, but that was really nice." What's it? Cartagena is saying teaching is the same way. I guess for a student to come up to a teacher and say like, "Yeah, thanks, that was a good lesson," or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
raise their hand and answer questions because they
Yeah.
don't want to be part of the dialogue. But like, probably at the end of it, they're like, Thanks, that was a nice. Thanks for helping me. I understand it better now."
Yeah. Yeah. No, for real though. Like it's I don't know, man. It's just like there was a point in my life too where I felt like stupid for asking questions in class and stuff. So yeah, I mean, you always got to put yourself in other people's shoes and how they react to you. But it's still like some people don't clap at a bar or restaurant because they don't want to disrupt the vibe or bother other patrons or guests. I feel you. I feel you. Some people are just really polite, and that's fine. But I just feel like if there's a performer and they're performing, and it's I gotta give them some love. But there's like certain clubs that like, cause it's like some jazz gigs, doesn't. They're just literally background noise. Like they are literally they will be told to be turned. They will be told to turn down several times throughout the night because they're literally just there as musical wallpaper. And so I get that. I feel like when you're putting that much energy into something and there's no, it's not reciprocal, it sort of drains you. And for me personally, when I'm in those moments with those gigs where it's just like you're literally blasting all this energy into the into the ether, and it just makes me feel like, what the hell am I doing? Like I just feel drained. I feel really tired afterwards. Honestly, it just feels like I just put all of this stuff into it. How so you reacted that one time as in, I'm done with this band. What happened the other time? I gotta know. And
Yeah.
by the way, you're blessed for only having to deal with that twice in your life. I mean, that was for a while there. That was like every weekend until we figured out the live learn thing, and then it changed. Everything changed after that.
Yeah, I
But
think it was actually a New Year's Eve. We did a New Year's Eve at a local bar, and literally everybody was there for like what was on TV and the countdown. We were literally just background. And I remember playing, I think it was playing Maggie May by Rod Stewart. And I got halfway through the song and I was literally so zoned out that I came to halfway through and I went, "Oh my God, what verse am I on?" And I'm like, "Okay, oh, okay, I'm here." And like, I had played half the tune and totally didn't realize it. And, and I remember we played a whole bunch of music and then they counted down. We played Old Lang Syne. And then literally everybody just went from this is like, they're facing us to like, whoop, to the TVs. They just watch. And I went, "Wow, should we even play? Should we even continue?" We're just like, "Well, we're here till 2, so we better keep going."
yeah, we want our check. I suppose we should finish.
Yeah, and we did. It was just like, well, that was interesting. But, like I said, we at the end of the night, after feeling like, well, why do we even bother? The bar staff were like, "Yeah, thanks for coming out. When can we hire you again?" It's just okay.
Oh.
There's still a bit of appreciation there, so that's good.
Exactly. Well, and then because also you feel like that you're letting down the bar because your job at a bar is to entertain people, to keep them drinking and staying and to hang out and dancing around each other. Moo!
Moo to Timmy.
Hey, Timmy Mofo, welcome. Moo to you, friend. Moo to you.
King says, "Beans over Brown Eyed Girl." I have a song called Beans that's like literally 10 seconds long and it gets more requests than anything else.
Can we get a taste of the 10-second song? Can we get just a little taste of that?
You want a little taste? Because a little taste is like the whole song.
Okay, can we get the whole taste? Can we get the whole serving?
Here we go. You usually got to cash in 8,000 points to get this, but I'm giving it away for free. So here we go.
So don't give it
I got friends, you got friends, I got friends. Beans. I got friends, you got friends, I got friends. Beans. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Timmy, that's your sound. Beep, 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 beep. Love it.
Yeah, that's Timmy's sound, huh? He likes the air horn. That's for
Yeah,
you, Timmy.
yeah,
That's for
yeah.
you, Timmy. Beans. That was great. Thank you for those claps, Mighty Mighty. I
Oh
appreciate it.
man.
Uh,
That's the clip from the whole interview right there.
yeah, I mean that's what this whole interview was. That's the pinnacle. I mean, we might as well just call it a day. Like that was it. That was the whole thing. Worth 8,000 channel points every stinking time. I do like that song. Where does a song like that come? Thank you, Mighty
I
Mighty, for
it
those
was it
biddies.
happened to be like one of my buddies happened to be watching me on Twitch, and some inside joke happened where Beans was the punchline. I can't even remember what led to it. I was just like, yeah, Beans, and then I just played that, and everybody was like, Beans, and like the chat was just full of beans. I'm like, wow, that was a big response for something that was that small and that terrible.
Isn't that funny though? Isn't that funny how just like a little joke can be a seed that just like blossoms into a whole tradition. It's
Yeah.
very funny. Look, Hot Boy Summer. Let me tell you, Hot Boy Summer has become the hit of the summer on this channel and
Oh
on
man.
Raina's channel. Apparently, let me tell you something
Ooh.
about Rain. Let me tell you about something about Hot Boy Summer. Hot Boy Summer raised us over $100. I think it was for Streamfest too. I think it was for Danny's Streamfest. So
Oh,
like,
amazing.
so I that song. I mean, we had to do it like 3 times, but it was like $100, $150 just for that song. So you know what? I was like,
Amazing.
there's something hot about this song. There's something real hot about it. So,
Up in Canada, it's more like dad bod summer, but
Dad bod summer. I love that.
uh, yeah. Uh.
Yeah. Yeah. Damian Marley clip nice. Oh, I got you.
Out in the street, they call it murder.
There you go, Tim. There you go, Timbo. Timbo Slice. There you go, my friend. So I don't even remember where we were. So I mean,
We had some beans there for a second.
yeah, we had beans and traditions. Um,
Talking about being feeling rejected at a pub for no
oh
response.
yeah, wow! Look at your memory. You must be a sober person or mostly sober person.
It's all the water I drink. We're the water buddies on my Twitch channel. We encourage you to keep hydrated, so it must be all the H2O.
I like that. I like that. Hella hydrated. Raina
Mhm,
is definitely about drinking water. That's like the first
mhm.
question. It's like, oh no, my head hurts. She's like, did you drink enough water? Did you drink
Yeah,
plenty of water?
it's amazing. What was it? Somebody posted a meme or something, and it was like when you're a kid, you think that like pop is the grown-up beverage, and then when you're a teenager, you think that alcohol is the grown-up beverage, and then when you get to being a grown-up, you realize it was water
Water
the
the
whole
whole
time.
time, man. Water. Just give me water. Oh god. What is moo? What is moo all about? Is that another inside joke?
That's the sound everything makes,
Moo.
except for an airplane, of course.
Oh
Just go with it.
yeah.
It's
No, I
it's
get it.
it's it's science, it's fact,
It
it's
is fact.
religion,
Yeah.
it's everything. It's a
Yeah.
way of life. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I even have a
Wage.
shirt made. I should have wore it. I'm not even promoting myself very well. It says airplane, choo choo, everything else, moo. And that's just words to live by.
Where's the live by? Listen, don't think about it too much. Just look. Just it's in there. Scientific papers have been written on the subject. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you.
They've been disproven numerous times, but they have scientific papers
Well,
about it.
they, you know what? It's not about science anymore, man. It's about how we feel, man. So, come on, man. It's science, man. So it's all good. Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. Moo. I'm with it.
Yeah.
we're we're moving through the evening here. So, with everything sort of opening back up, how are you planning on going forward with like streaming and with gigging? Are you going to try to like work it out so both can still exist, or
Definitely plan on a balance of both. I have a schedule that's 3 times a week on Twitch: Tuesdays, Thursdays at 7 Eastern time, and Saturdays at 2 Eastern time. And figuring that my weekends are starting to fill up now, so
yeah?
my Saturday might need to be rescheduled or just
Mm.
canceled altogether. So I'm hoping to at least have two dates on Twitch because, like I said, I've got this awesome community on Twitch that's
Yeah.
been growing and growing since August of last year. I can't just say, well, it's been a slice. See you later. I'm definitely going to keep that going. It's just something I look forward to, and I've got these people who are like literally family
Yeah.
that I see twice a week, and I love hanging out with them. It's
Yeah.
so much fun.
Isn't that wild that like you can just get to know people and you never seen their face or even know their real name and you just like and you like care about what their day-to-day life is. It's like I wonder.
Yeah, I almost feel like I'm letting everybody down because when I'm not streaming, I'm not really keeping in touch. But I'm really sorry, but like they're probably like, Jay, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Probably. Most of the time, people are forgiving and or understanding, right? It's
I
like,
just realized I was in a hot tub. This is awesome.
oh yeah. Anybody who subs, by the way, gets their name written on my arm, just like the e girls. It's my homage to Indie Fox. R.I.P. Indie Fox for getting demonetized on Twitch. That's a bummer. And Amaranth. Let's not forget our good friend Amaranth. Yeah. What's Jason's Twitch stream? My mod had to go pick up Saucy, so I will shout out. Here is everything. Exclamation point JS if you guys want. Or nope, that's not how you spell your name. Exclamation point JC. And that will pull up
go.
Jason's Twitch, Spotify, IG.
That
and
pesky
YouTube.
E in my first name is
What is that?
different.
Why did you do that to me?
ask my parents, man. It's on my birth certificate.
I was like, if this is some kind of ploy to get attention in some kind of manner. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't even think of that.
It just means that every like important document that I've ever received is just wrong. Like if I ever got like a letter for like jury duty and they spelled it like ON, I'd be like, that ain't me.
That's not me.
I'm not going to jury.
Yeah. Have you ever done that? Like, I've never done that. They said it's illegal, but I've never shown up. Like, never. I don't know. Have you? Have you shown up before?
Is it a thing? I don't even know if it's a thing in Canada to be called in for jury duty, but I never have myself. But yeah, okay, it is a thing. It is a thing in Canada to get called in for jury duty, but I have never had to. Never got a letter.
Yeah, it happens. Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Okay. Bonnie's in Canada as well, so she's our other Canadian expert here. I've never done that. What is even the penalty for not doing it? Like, is there a penalty for not showing up for jury duty?
You get this.
you get a stream fist in your face. Yeah. Let me see. Oh, I didn't. I timed it all wrong.
Here we go.
Thank you.
How dare you?
Penalty for not showing up for.
Got to collect some channel points here. 60 points.
Hey, get it. You're gonna need them. You're gonna need them. If you want to see Hot Boy Summer, you're gonna need those points. Any person who. Oh, come on. Oh wait, I know what we can do. So we can all be involved here, and also.
Here we go. We're googling it.
What else are we doing, huh? Let's see. So any person who fails to appear or who fails to show good cause for non-compliance with the jury summons may be fined not more than $1,000 or imprisoned not more than 3 days or both. Is my job protected while I serve jury duty? Probably. This is for Ohio because I'm in Ohio. I don't know what it is for Ottawa.
I drove through Ohio. I was pretty happy about that.
Why?
Ohio's pretty big.
No, it's awful. It's a terrible state. It's actually not that bad compared to Michigan. It is not as bad as Michigan. Michigan is garbage.
I got some exploring to do. I
It,
don't like the hype of any of these states.
look, I came back to Ohio after living 13 years, 3 blocks from the beach in Southern California. I was not happy to be back. Trust me. Let's see. Ottawa County. No, not Ottawa County. Ottawa, Canada. Stupid. We're gonna see what's gonna happen to you now, Jason. That you've publicly admitted that you skip out on jury duty. So we'll see what's the penalty here. No shows. It's probably like you just get a tub of maple syrup.
Yeah.
That's it.
Bonnie's saying a fine of 25 to $200, and
Oh.
people can be jailed. Jurors get $80 a day for their service.
Oh, look at that. Okay, I
Yeah.
see. And this is Nova Scotia. Thank you, Bonnie, because she
Bon-
saw how I was struggling there.
Bonnie knows all. Thanks, Bonnie.
Bonnie saw how much I was struggling, and and she was like, I better step in before this gets nasty." Okay, we're going back, guys. We're going back. I do know all. Yes, you do, Bonnie. Yes, you do. Okay. The judge will determine if a show cause hearing should be scheduled for you to show cause why you should not be held in contempt of court for failing to appear for jury service. If you fail to appear for a show cause hearing, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest, and you can be fined or sent to jail. So there you
Hey,
go.
well, spell my name right when you're putting me on.
Yeah, exactly. You want me to show up, asshole? You better spell my name right. Okay?
Like, yeah, this isn't me. Sorry, this is Jason. Sorry, I don't know this
Jason.
person.
A bucket of maple syrup. I'd rather take the poutine. Yeah. Oh, a maple poutine. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, nothing better than fried cheese curds with
Now,
maple syrup.
as a resident of Ohio, is poutine something that can be
Attained? Yeah.
purchased? Yeah.
It can be at the Culver's.
Ooh,
Yeah. You guys have Culver's,
we don't have Culver's.
but you're familiar with Culver's.
I have heard of such a place.
Phil, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Good to see you, buddy.
Jansen Carlson has a court date. That's my alter ego.
Jansen Kelson. Jansen Kelson here with the 5 o'clock news. Culver's is a pretty happening joint here in the little city that I'm in. I'm outside of a bigger city called Toledo, Ohio. Garbage city, but I'm in a suburb called Oregon, and it is pronounced Oregon. And if you try to say Oregon, people will correct you.
That's like the Oregon Trail.
Yes, except people from Oregon will be like, "What the hell is an Oregon?" And okay, so anyways, this place opened up, and mind you, Oregon, like they have a main street of shopping, which consists of like a Kroger or whatever, a supermarket for groceries, like a Dollar General, like a Dollar Tree, a
I love that
CVS.
Dollar General.
Hey, you can't go wrong.
I had the cheapest supper ever from Dollar General. I got spaghetti and garlic bread for $3. It was great.
Dude, Dollar General comes through, but I'm just trying to paint a picture here for you. Everything else is Taco Bell, McDonald's, Wendy's, all Sonic, all the garbage. And then Culver's comes in and like a gift from the heavens. Like the whole town rejoiced. We have a Facebook page, a group page for Oregon, and like everybody was so happy. Like it was the happiest day of their lives. Like I've never seen the group chat on Facebook for our little town like blow up like it did. Other than like when the election was going on and people were getting into like public fights on the stupid thing, talking about Trump. Anyways, it's still to this day, this was like months ago, and still to this day, if you try to go there around like noon or 5 o'clock, there is a line down the freaking street to get a burger or poutine. So all of that just to tell you that it's a very popular place here in Oregon, Ohio.
Well, I know where I'm going when I go there.
Well, you're damn right. You're
My
damn
reservation
right.
now. Yeah.
You're damn right. So what did you do before you were a full-time musician? What was your day job?
I worked, like I say, the equivalent to a CVS.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Shoppers Drug Mart.
So
the
how
place I
was
worked
that?
at.
That was like your only job for the longest time, and then you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this now."
Believe it or not, I only had 2 places of employment from the age of 15 to the age of 34. Wow. So I didn't pursue like an academic career
Yeah.
or like anything like that. I started working at a Pizza Hut when I was 15, and I worked there all the way till my second son was about to be born.
Oh wow.
So, and that was 2009. So I was 28. So from 15 to 28, I worked at a Pizza Hut, and I had, like, gone up the ladder and
Uh,
was managing, so to speak, at the
well,
time
well, I'm
I
glad
left
that you
there.
weren't just the pizza boy at 28 with your second son or your second child on the way. It's like, I'm still the pizza boy,
Yeah.
delivery guy. Yeah.
So then I went and got a job at a Shoppers Drug Mart working the receiving dock, and I did that for a little bit, and then got promoted to assistant, and that's when my boss started to be the worst human being I've ever met in existence, and I had to make a choice.
Wait,
Did I
okay,
want to
wait.
put up with that, or did I want to just say no thanks?
What was what kind of what? How did things change once that person became your boss?
I became a bitter person, and I
Wait, how
dreaded
did
going
you
into
become
work. And
bitter?
then well, I did, and I started, like, I'm a fairly patient human being,
Uh,
and usually when somebody I'm working with is difficult, or they have their shortcomings, or they kind of like get on your last nerve, I can usually go, okay, well, this person's going to get fired sometime soon, or
mm.
they're going to quit or something, and everything will be okay, which had happened numerous times in my life. This one individual just was not, there was no escape. It's like, I think I'm stuck with him, and I'm like, all right, this is a new challenge. So how do I do with this? And I became such a very bitter, grumpy person. I would come home and talk about how crappy my day was, and just like, wow, this is toxic. This is awful.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just spitting out negativity, and it was just like, do I really need this? And I was stressed about, like, am I going to make enough money? And I said, well, money, health first and money later was what I decided.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So were you when you left that job, you said you already had music gigs sort of lined up. Was there any moments of like uncertainty when you jumped in? Like were you just like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but here we go, or was it just like I gotta get out of here? I don't care. I mean, especially with a second child on the way, and because Canada has healthcare for all, you weren't sitting there freaking out about like how is my child gonna get healthcare when you were actually able to focus on changing careers and taking a smart step towards a better life instead of being dependent on
Hmm.
being a slave to whatever company that's dangling their crappy insurance in front of you. But
Yeah.
but
Fairly lucky. Canadians are really lucky in that regard. It does
absolutely.
have its pros and cons, but yeah, for the most part, it's
What's
a
its
wonderful
cons?
benefit to have. You don't always get the immediate care you do need, like the
Mhm.
wait times in certain hospitals and clinics like that can be a lot longer depending on the importance of your issue. But
Hmm.
that's one of the shortcomings. A lot of people have other opinions about how our system isn't perfect, but like I said, as a Canadian citizen since birth for 40 years, I think our system works fairly well, and I'm pretty happy about that. Not having to worry about an astronomical bill after getting your appendix removed or something like that,
Yeah.
like surgery you can't avoid.
Right.
So
Like yeah, fucking a life crushing debt fucking bill from the hospital. I
mhm.
want to just shout out every podcast I love is dead. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Everybody, go and check out every podcast is dead. If you like music podcasts, and you guys are here, so I'm guessing you do, you're gonna love every podcast I love is dead because also Nolan is Canadian. So there you go, guys. A Canadian, another Canadian up in our midst. And also, thank you so much for that sub, buddy. I really appreciate it. I'm going to, since you subbed, I'm going to go ahead and write your name on here. I'm going to just write Epilid. Epilid. Every podcast I love is dead. There you go, buddy. You're on my arm now, just like the e-girls. I'm not going to show you my cleavage because it's not as presentable as theirs, but you know, you get it. Cleavage in your mind, okay? Um, yeah. So what was the vibe going into that decision? Like, what? How was? I mean, did you make this? Was this a family decision, or was this just something I got to do? And
There was a plan. There had been a plan originally. My At the time, my wife, who is we're not together anymore, but when we were together, the plan was that she was looking for a job working in the government, but there are steps to take to get that, and so we were in that kind of limbo waiting period, and I was doing the Shoppers Drug Mart job and the gigs, and I was tiring myself out. But I knew once my wife got her government job that we could talk about like me getting rid of one job or the other. I was ultimately going to say the gigs are going to be the ones that are going to stay because it was a passion job. It was awesome. I was lucky to have something like that. But we hadn't gotten to that juncture yet. So she was between jobs, and I really wanted to quit Shoppers at the time. It was like, you know what, I have to. I'm so angry, and I'm probably going to like gain 20 years on my life just by working there. So
Yeah.
so I like had a call with her and said, I'm quitting today. What do you think? And we obviously that wasn't the last conversation, but by the end of the day, we had talked about it and we agreed that we could make it work. And if it wasn't for her support at that moment, I probably would have been doing both jobs still. But we had I've always had a good support system no matter where I've been. And it was good to know that I was being taken care of, like my needs were being taken care of, and I was making sure that everybody else was taken care of too. So yeah, it was a little stressful, but I remember being stressed the day I went to work to hand in my resignation. And as soon as I did, it was like I felt like 100 pounds lighter. I walked home. I skipped home from work. I was like, this is amazing. Why didn't I do this before? It was wonderful. I knew everything was going to work out. It was great.
Um, those moments are wonderful. Mighty, thank you so much for that gifted sub. Awesome, Moving Dutchman. I forgot. You gifted Jason a sub earlier. So,
Yeah, mighty. That was awesome. Thank you, friend.
Applewood, Moving Dutchman, and Mighty. Oh, you're right there. You can't really see it that well. So there you are. Again, I'd show you my cleavage, but they're just not that great. It's just not that great.
Sounds like Jason have a Braveheart moment. Freedom!
Oh my goodness, Mighty. Thank you so much for gifting.
Gifting subs everywhere.
Tap
Mighty.
Tick.
Thank you, man.
What is it? Tap Tick? Is it or Tap
That's
Titch?
Tap Titch.
Tap Titch.
That's my lovely lady.
You lovely lady friend. Thank you so much, lovely lady friend. I appreciate you being here and receiving that sub. And Mighty, thank you again. You know what? By your name, Mighty, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put an exclamation point.
It's raining subs. Hallelujah. It's raining subs. Amen.
Is that your sub song? Is that your sub song?
It will be now.
It's a raining subs. You can call me Marina. Okay.
Just don't call me late for lunch.
Hey.
Marina gave me the biggest stink face ever. I love it.
You know what, Marina? I actually prefer to call you Tap Titch or Lady Friend. There you go. And then, see, another bad joke. Like, here's the problem with me. Like, I'll start saying jokes, but it comes out as like flat and plain. So people are just like, you're just weird. You're
That's just deadpan humor.
Yeah,
it works.
it's not. It doesn't work for me. Everybody always looks at me like you guys do. Like, okay. Anyways, we're doing things here, folks. We're doing things. So you quit your job, and did you have any problems with the transition? What were some of the challenges you faced? I mean, I always like to talk about these moments with musicians because I think it's very important because there's so many people who are doing this balancing act like you were doing, where I work full time and they love music and music is a big part of their life and they're gigging all the time and it's becoming too much, but they don't want to actually take the jump because music is such a it's such a risky venture. Like it's you never know what's going to happen. You never know when a pandemic is going to come and take all your gigs away overnight. So it's a weird thing to want to jump into uncertainty. And it's a fearful thing. And so you got a lot of people who sit around and they just dream about it or think they can or just can't. And I think you kind of touched on this, how you were just like, I just never thought this was possible. Keem Dambreaker, Moving Dutchman, thank you so much for gift subbing that to the king the king dam breaker. Moving Dutchman. I'm running out of space, so I'm just gonna put MD over here. Okay. There it is. MD. Another one. Moving Dutchman. It's raining subs. Hallelujah. It's the raining subs. Ooh yeah. That was good.
It's raining subs.
Um, but when when people are on the fence about these type of things, it's like my always response is, especially when people ask me, which is not often, but they'll be like, "Hey, what do you think? Penny, what's going on? Good to see you. I'm afraid now I get you at WSEG. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing that transition is scary as shit. For me personally, I was sort of pushed into it because I got fired from my cubicle job, and well, it was like, well, now what am I gonna do? And we got a newborn baby, and rent's due in 2 weeks. Let's go.
Yep.
So that was very motivating for me. So I always like to ask about these moments in people's lives, because it's like, I feel like just if people just gave it a chance, just fuck it. Especially if you're in that position in life where you can take that chance, where you don't have any dependents, you don't have anybody to answer to. You're just living your life and you're on the edge and you're just like, what should I do? You should definitely jump, leap. I'm always gonna tell you to leap. So, what was that for you? I mean, was that transit? I mean, I know you were talking about, you talked it over, and how was that transition? What did you face? What kind of problems did you face within it?
I'll tell you. I'll make it as succinct as possible. But like I said, I was married at the time I made the decision to go full time music, and as the story goes, our marriage didn't go the distance. It did end.
Mm.
So the challenge at that particular point was, now I am completely reliant on myself, and I've got 2 kids to take care of, part time, and I'm playing gigs. Can I do it? Can I sustain on my own without that, so to speak, comfort blanket or whatever? And that was, I went through a depression at that point because I was really freaked out. I was a big creature. I probably still am a big creature of safety and living in a bubble and having the things that really never change. And anything that was any type of change was challenging. But a life altering change like that definitely freaked me right out, and I started having panic attacks and was going into a depression. And I went to see a therapist, and the therapist really talked me through. It gave me some insight into saying, what, being afraid is not necessarily you claiming failure. It's your way of preparing yourself for what you don't know. And she was the one who wrote this little thing. I have it on my fridge still. It says, feel the fear and do it anyway. And those of you who watch Danielle Allard, she reiterates that point in her own way by saying, do the scary thing.
Mm.
Even if you fail at it 1,000 times, do the scary thing. Because, like, you'll feel better after the 1,000th time. You finally feel comfortable doing it for the 1,001st time or whatever. You'll have the tools to move forward. And so at that point, it was, can I, sustain off the gig income, and purchase a house by myself and pay off all my bills and get groceries, and have space for my 2 boys. And that was a big part of the growth from becoming a musician full time as my main source of income. Was, okay, you've got to do it by yourself now. And I've been doing it since 2017 as living on my own. I now have a wonderful girlfriend, and we're very happy to announce that we've bought a house together, and we're going to be moving in August. But it's good to know that as an individual, it's good to know that as a grown individual that I have the confidence to say I did that, and I'm not going to be any worse off if I don't have someone there. And I'm not saying I don't need another person, but I know that I'm a stronger individual because I've gone through that.
Yeah, yeah. That's such a thing to live by. That do what scares you, and what's that guy's name? His name is Tim something. He has a
Timmy Mofo.
no,
No.
not Timbo Slice. It's his name is Tim Ferriss. That's it. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Tim Ferriss?
I have not.
Tim Ferriss is the writer. Not Tom Rob. That's Tom Robbins, isn't it? I think that's the writer Tom, not Tim. Or is there a Tim Robbins? There might be a Tim Robbins. Yeah, I agree
Tim
with
Robbins,
you.
the one who speaks to the beyond. Isn't that him?
No, I think. God, those guys upset me. Tim Robbins is an actor. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Tom Robbins is a writer. Tim Robbins is an actor. And I'm on cloud nine or on the moon, I guess. Okay. Let's see.
Too many white guy names.
Yeah. Too much whiteness going on, folks. Change is terrifying, especially around 40 with a family. Props to you. Yeah. I wanted to come circle back for that. Yeah, I agree, man. Like that takes a lot of guts and a lot of fortitude to do that. But that idea, Tim Ferriss is the guy. He wrote the 4-Hour Work Week, and he said something to not to me personally. He has a podcast as well. He said that do what scares you daily. So not only do what scares you, but do what scares you daily. Like if you come across something that gives you that, and of course, within reason. Don't go,
Don't go stick your hand in a beehive.
Yeah, it's like, I'm brave. I'm brave. This is for you, Tim Ferriss. Doing it for you, Tim. But it's, like to go through this daily, and it's something that I try to do. I mean, when the moments arise where it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Oh, I don't want to do this. Oh God, I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it now. And it's one of those things that really took my, I guess, networking and my communication skills to another level, because once you get past that voice that tells you like you're wrong, don't do it, you'll fail at it, you suck, you're stupid, that whole thing, that doubt, the self-doubt voice, every time you push past that, you're building these new pathways that sort of push those ideas out. Like you're literally carving these pathways in your brain that bypass those feelings, and you're always going to have those feelings, but the more you do it, and the more you push past it, and in fact, even taking it to a daily practice, you just find the most mundane things that you thought were horrifying to do like nothing anymore. And it's like talking to somebody that I didn't know used to be the scariest thing. And then I started a podcast. For whatever reason, I decided that I needed. But part of the reason I started the podcast was to push past this barrier that I was facing. This I can't communicate well with others. I can't express myself well with others. I can't make eye contact with others that well. Like this whole thing that comes with being sort of this squirrely introverted artist. And I just think that is the key. The key is pushing past those self-made boundaries. And if you really want to push through anything, is telling that voice and telling that fear, and it's okay to have that fear, but also being like, well, go to hell, because I know I can do this. This is fine. I'm good to go. Or at least saying after this, I know I'm gonna feel better. This is what happens with me working out every time. Every time I am a fat asshole. Okay, I've been a fat asshole since I was a little kid. I don't like to move around a whole lot. And so every time it comes to the fucking gym, and I've been doing it, for a long, long time, working out, I've been doing it. But every time I'm just like, oh, God, I don't want to go there and sweat and do this. Andrew, thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate it.
Hey, Andrew Gill. Thanks, friend. Good to see you.
Welcome in. It's just every time I think about it, it's just the most horrifying thing. But then I have to remind myself, it's like, after this, you are going to feel fantastic. Like your life is going to be completely different than from how you woke up. After you get done sweating it out in there, you're going to just be on cloud nine. It's going to be great. And that's what I have to rely on. Moving Dutchman redeemed a TikTok. Okay. we'll do that as well. Any tips on leveling up on keyboard skills? Yes,
There was a few questions that
yeah,
were
yeah,
being
we're gonna
asked
get to
up
those
there,
questions too. I know I just rambled on about that, but
yeah.
I think I think it's an important thing to kind of to
Oh, for
go over.
sure.
You know, it's like people are held back by fear so much, and and it's a shame. Imagine all the things that aren't being accomplished, and all the progress that's sort of being held up by someone who is too afraid to express that. You know, the person with the cure for cancer is like, I'm too dumb. I'm not gonna do it. Or the next fucking Mozart is too afraid to put the pen to paper. You know, it's just like, imagine all the people out there who, all the things we're not getting because of the fear of pursuing dreams and passions. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
and
It
I
had to be
encourage.
taught to me. Like I say, when I went to talk to my therapist, it says, don't view fear as a way of saying you failed, a way
Yes.
of an excuse to say that you can't or you won't. Use
Mm.
it as, okay, your body's just putting on an armor saying, okay, I'm geared up. Now hit me with it.
Yeah.
That's you're preparing yourself bodily, you're preparing your mind
Yeah.
for what's coming next that you don't know. You're putting up your guard or your shields or whatever.
Right.
But you're gonna be safe in the end. You'll be fine.
Right. It's not like you're going to fight a tiger. You don't have to hunt, you don't have to hunt a lion in the middle of the night for food. You're just playing a song in front of somebody or presenting your poem to a friend. You know,
Yeah.
it's not anything crazy.
It's amazing how the thought of performing your poem in front of a crowd can have the same reaction as I have to fight this tiger or else I'm gonna die. It's the
exactly.
same reaction.
Exactly. And that's so confusing, especially for people like me who are just naturally anxious. Like, like right now, my legs going a million miles an hour, bouncing up and down. My hands are just soaked sweat. And like, it's just going to happen. It's just how it is. Like,
Yeah.
every time I do this, it's just how it is. And,
I have a,
you just sort of have to figure out how to work through those things and work around
I,
your own barriers.
I have an experience. Sorry, I'll get to the question
Yeah,
soon,
we're
but
gonna get to the questions. And Penny, thank you so much for that sub. And please go ahead and express yourself, sir, while I write Penny's name on my arm.
to go with the whole how your body reacts and how you deal with how your body reacts. We had Canadian Idol several years ago, and that was a thing. And everybody
It's
goes, "You
tight.
should try out for that. You should try out for that." I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get it. And I was just like,
Mm.
well, that's a rotten attitude. So I ended up going and auditioning for it. And and there's Penny on your arm. And I remember waiting in line just to sign up and waiting in line to get called. And I remember saying to my wife at the time who drove me, it's just like, okay, so here's the deal. Like, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm super nervous, but I'm going to do this. I'm just going to let you know right before it's my turn to go or like leading up to it, I'm going to want to go to the bathroom. Like, like my body's just going to let everything go.
Holy
And sure enough, it was just like, boom. I'm like, okay, I'll be right back. And that was it. Did my thing in the bathroom, and then I went out and I did my audition. It was just like I knew my body was going to have a freak out, so I recognized it and just did it anyway. Just like my body's just telling me, okay, you're just really nervous about this, but here's how here's how your body's going to tell you.
Yeah.
But I did it. I was like, I know I'm going to. I just recognize that, yeah, I go through this process of how I cope with something that's scary. But I got through it. I knew it was gonna happen, and I didn't let it dictate how I was going to go forward.
Yeah, stress sheets. Yeah, exactly. No, man, I have that too. When I was younger, that used to be my go-to thing. It was like anytime I was too nervous, I was just blowing up toilets. Like it was just it's not even nice. Oh, and then so my first like gig ever, I was like, I don't know, 17 or something, and like my whole life this has always happened, and I've moved to schools a lot, I moved to different areas a lot, we moved a lot, so that definitely doesn't help anxiety in a little fat kid. So we were setting up the play, and we were like, it was like, okay guys, go ahead, and then all of a sudden that
Yeah.
right, that the sounds of hell are beckoning from your lower intestine. And so uh, I had to go and poop in like when I talk about a nasty dive bar, it was like the coolest bar, but usually the cool grungy bars are have the grossest bathroom. This did not fail. This did not fail. I walk in there, and the first thing I got to do while I'm like turtling, it's like I had to wipe down the seat that was completely soaked with piss. And I'm a freak, so I had to go and like wet down a napkin or wet down the toilet paper because there was no paper towels, of course, or soap. And I had to wipe down and like dry it. And then of course there's no door. The bathroom's like a closet. So anybody who walks in is washing their hands right and peeing right next to you with this little tiny door. There's just no privacy. So I'm like blowing this up and people are just walking in and it's oh man, and like they're saying shit like and meanwhile I'm supposed to be on stage playing. And the sound guy's pissed off. The sound guy actually came in the bathroom and was like, hey, you gotta hurry up. You're behind now. And I'm like, I'm trying to shit here.
Yeah, I'm behind. All right. You want to see how behind I am?
Yeah, exactly, motherfucker. Chill out. It's cool. We got you, baby. Anyways, yeah, the nerves.
Mm-hmm.
They can get you. They can get you. But you gotta push past. You gotta push past, and that's how you learn to get past your nerves. There's no getting past anything that you don't try to do. Like you don't just wake up one day and get past those nervous tendencies that you had your whole life. The only way you can get past it is, and probably not the only way. I shouldn't say the only way. One of the ways and the most effective ways is to just do the things that scare you. And therapy is a great other thing as well. Therapy has been so useful. And I'm going to go as far as saying is that medication fucking worked for me, which I didn't want to take medication. I fucking thought medication was for, I don't know, I just didn't think it worked. I was against it. I like all these mass shooters are always on some kind of inhibitor of some kind, you know? So like, it's like, I just thought you just stop functioning as the person you are and you just become the shell of a human being. And turns out they just helped. They just helped in every way I needed them to help. So, you know, man, sometimes people just hold themselves back too. It's crazy. I guess that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about holding yourself back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, should we get to some questions now that we've inspired people to?
I was gonna say I'm on a
I know
time
you're on a
today.
time
I realize
limit.
it's I'm going earlier than I'm supposed to, so I apologize for that. But I'll try to answer as many questions as I can.
Of course. Studio B, man. Any other old school Cheech and Chong fans helpless to not quote them? Studio B, man. Yeah, you gotta get it in. Okay, so what is your favorite gig memory, Jason?
Wow, one.
Just get one.
Okay, I guess I'll do two because one of my favorite instances is kind of strange but very cool. I was actually part of Shania Twain's concert when she came to Ottawa once, and she was doing her "Come On Over" tour to support that album, and she was in Ottawa for 2 days, and it was part of her show where she'd get local kids from local high schools to be part of her show. And so people might remember that at one of the shows in Ottawa, that was actually one of the shows that Avril Lavigne got discovered because she was invited up as part of this concert gimmick to come up and sing a song with Shania.
Cool.
So she came up and sang "What Made You Say That," I think it was the tune, but it was like a young Avril Lavigne was singing that song, and they like totally discovered her from that concert.
Were you like, what the heck? I sang too. Where's my MTV debut? Where's my TRL moment?
So as part of that same concert series, she had choirs from certain high schools come up and do a choir part for a song called "God Bless the Child," and my school was asked to have 10 students volunteer to be part of the show, and I was one of the 10 students. So one of the 2 nights that she played, I was in the choir singing backup for her song "God Bless the Child." In retrospect, I realized that we weren't mic'd. We were just literally there for like posterity. Like, hey, there's some kids on stage, but like it was really cool to be on a stage at like a stadium, like a sports stadium with 18,500 people staring at you. That was awesome.
Wow.
But nobody was really there for me. They were there for Shania, of course. So that stage experience was awesome, even though it wasn't for me. One of my favorite actual stage performances that was for a band that I was playing in was when I got to tour in Europe. I was lucky enough to do a couple tours in Germany and Sweden and Finland and stuff. So we played for a local band that was touring. I was in a Celtic punk band, and they were called Siobhan.
Ooh.
And they were touring with a couple of guys who were in the band. You might have heard of the Pogues, but they're like kind of like the go-to Celtic punk band from Ireland. A lot of guys. There's a band out of Boston called Dropkick Murphys, who kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
resemble them.
Cool.
Anyway, so we opened for this act that was like a couple of the guys who used to play in the Pogues, and we played for like 1,500 people at this like awesome hall venue, which was pretty cool. It's like I never played for a number of people that was that large. That was like they were there to listen to me play, which was kind of cool. And I have that gig. I have the recording of it in my archives, so I can listen to it every time I get nostalgic.
What was the name of the band again? Penny wants to know.
Siobhan, it's spelled Siobhan. It's a Gaelic word, a Celtic name. Siobhan.
Siobhan.
Siobhan is how it's spelled.
Almost, Bonnie. You almost
Yeah,
there.
yeah, Bonnie almost had that one.
It's okay.
But
A
they
for
are no
effort.
longer together, but you can still purchase their stuff online, I think.
And how much
They
of a
still
cut
have
are
like a
you getting?
Bandcamp page or something.
How much of a cut do you get every quarter? How big is that check?
I still get cuts, but like I probably haven't had a check from them in like 12 years.
That's oh well, fantastic. What did you play in that band?
I was the drummer in that band.
So you've been primarily a drummer your whole career.
Singer to start, and then I started playing drums at 12. And then when bands started asking, well, who's gonna sing in this band if you're the drummer? I'm like, well, I could do it.
Yeah.
And I started singing behind the drums since I was a teenager.
Yeah. Why wouldn't? Who's gonna sing? How do we do this? What do you mean? Just put a microphone back here and I go, son. Okay, we got a question. We got some TikTok. We'll see what we can. We'll see what we get to. We'll see if we get to a song before Jason has to go. But no guarantees, everybody. You guys know when he streams. You can go. You see that whenever you feel like. Let's see. What's next here? If you could share the stage with anyone in the world, living or dead, who would it be?
Beatles.
Oh.
Probably the Beatles.
Really?
You got to go to the go-to.
Yeah.
Like I like a lot of bands. There's a lot of bands who I would consider like sharing a stage with them would be awesome. But I think to share the stage with like the Beatles, like to me, they're the ones who kind of spearheaded everything. Like I know there was Elvis before and Chuck Berry and all that, but for me, it's like the Beatles took that and like broadened it so much.
Yeah.
So I think I would love to share a stage with the Beatles if that was a thing I could do for sure.
That's cool. I don't I don't even know who I'd share a stage with. Maybe I'll go with Rush since we're talking to a Canadian. We'll go with Rush.
That's a good.
I like Rush. I really do like Rush. I'm just not pandering here. I'd rather AC/DC or dare I say it, the Stones. Oh, how dare you! Love the Beatles, but not the liveliest concerts. How do you know? How many Beatles concerts did you go to? Bonnie. Okay. So we got the questions. You know what? We'll save TikTok for after Jason leaves because I don't want to have him watching TikTok videos with us when we could be, experience a song or playing games or something. So how about we do this? How about Jason, do you mind playing a song for us?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, why don't we listen to a song and then we'll see how much time afterwards, and we'll do TikTok with Jason or it's up to you guys. We can try to shoot in one round of how much does it cost on Craigslist with Jason. So, Jason, go ahead, take it away, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do afterwards.
All right, I'm going to play this one. It's not for anywhere released, but it's going to be released in the future. It's one's called Goodbye. We were together for a short amount of time. We shared stories and we shared a glass of wine. All the while we felt that we were doing what was right. We had laughter and we laughed all through the night. Oh, you once told me to think outside my head, find a way to think down from my heart instead. It was plain to see just where my seeds were sown. I grew through the years and I built myself a home. And I opened up my life to you. And I couldn't see what was so true. And I can't live without the pain, 'cause I just can't see you again. And through all the tears we cry, hurts to say goodbye. It would seem our hearts would carry us away. It was hard to save face for another day. We were blinded and we let it get too deep. I lay next to her and I just can't get to sleep. And I can't ignore the way I feel. And I know that this is all too real. And I'll take you with me when I go. And I thought that you deserved to know that through all the tears we cry, it hurts to say goodbye. After all that we denied, it's time to say goodbye.